So what we're going to do here is we're going to review the Pythagorean theorem, which is a squared, which is one leg, plus b squared, which is the other leg, equals c squared, c being the hypotenuse, or the longest side. So what we're going to do now is look at this first problem where we're given 5 as one leg, 12 as the other leg, and c, which is the hypotenuse. So we want to find the hypotenuse. To do that, we're going to take our first leg, square it, our second leg, square it, and c, which we don't know, we're going to square it. So when we do the math, this is 25, 144, and when you add those up, we're going to get 169. To find the answer to c, we're going to take the square root of c, which when we take the square root of 169, in this case it comes out evenly as 13, so that's the hypotenuse. We're going to do the same thing to this next problem. I'm going to take my 10 squared plus my 6 squared equals my c squared. And the hypotenuse is always opposite of the right angle. So if you look at both the problems that we've done, that's the one we don't know the answer to, so we're going to figure out the answer. So we get 100 plus 36 equals c squared. When we add up 136, so when we do 136, and we're going to take the square root of that, we're going to take the square root of that. We don't come out evenly this time, so we get a 2 to the radical 34 if you have a good calculator that calculates it. But we also want to know what that is, a decimal. And if we look at that, we'll get 11 point, and we're going to round to 2 decimal places, 66. So here are our answers in radical form and in decimal form. All right, let's look at the last type of problem. Find the leg measures. So we're going to do the same formula, but this time one of the legs is what we don't know. So in this case, a squared. But we know the other leg, which is 7 squared, equals 25 squared. And in this case, a squared plus 49 equals into 25 times 20. 25 times 25 times 25 is 625. Equals 625. And if I subtract 49 from both sides, I get 576. And then I have to take the square root to get a, and the square root of 576 is 24. And so a equals 24. All right, last problem, very similar. We have our hypotenuse is given to us if you look across. So I'm going to take my a, which is 2 squared, my b squared, and in this case 4 squared. So this is 4 plus b squared equals 16. Subtract 4, I get b squared equals 12. And when you take the square root of both sides, I'm going to get the square root of 12, which will be 2 radical 3, but in decimal form, it's going to be 3.46 or 3.46. So what we're going to do is we're going to identify a right triangle. So if we're given our 3 sides, 5, 7, 9, the longest side, 9, is our hypotenuse. So the other 2 are legs. So if I go 5 squared plus 7 squared, I want to know if it equals 9 squared. That's the question. So let's go through the math. That's 25 plus 49. Does that equal 81? Well, if you do the math, this will be 74. So it does not equal 81. So it's not a right triangle. A quick what if is, what if our sides were 3 and 4? And does it equal 5? So if I have 3, 4, and 5, let's go through that math. 3 squared is 9. 4 squared is 16, and 5 squared is 25. So does 9 plus 16 equal 25? Yes. So it is a right triangle. So an example of one where it's not a right triangle compared to what it is the second what if problem.